Letting go is hard, especially when the success or failure of a project, a mission, or your team seems to fall squarely on your shoulders. But the truth is, if you don't learn to delegate, you're not leading, you're just managing tasks. In today's video, we're tackling one of the toughest challenges that leaders face: how to delegate when trust feels impossible. Whether you're leading in the corporate world, the military, or any team environment, the ability to delegate is key to growth for both you and your team. So if you're ready, let's do it. Hey family, this is Mike Sarge from Create Force, where we create opportunities for leaders to have genuine conversations and dominate by being a force in whatever room we walk into. And before we get started, be sure to show your support by hitting that like and subscribe button so you're notified and you're kept up to date whenever we drop new videos, whenever we drop new content. So let's start by admitting something right now. We have all struggled with this at some point. We have all been in a situation where we've been burned before. Either someone dropped the ball, missed the deadline, showed up late, or didn't deliver at the level that you expected. So in response, what did you do? You started holding on to everything, and I mean everything. Every decision, every task, every detail, every meeting, everything. And in the moment, don't get me wrong, it seems like it's the right thing to do. It really, really does. You rather just not even have to worry about dealing with the headache of something falling through the cracks or dealing with the headache of dealing with particular people. Trust me, I get it. But here's the problem. When you refuse to delegate, you're not just holding yourself back, you're holding your team back. Delegation isn't just about workload, it's about trust. And trust doesn't happen overnight. It's built one moment, one task, and one honest conversation at a time. But then how do you delegate if you feel like trust is an uphill battle? Well, let's break it down. Number one, start small. You don't need to hand over the keys to the kingdom right away. I remember growing up and finally learning how to ride a bike. I was super excited. I wanted to go everywhere, but my parents weren't having that. They were not about to have me going everywhere unsafe. So it started off with just me being allowed to ride my bike in front of the house. And then over time, they allowed me to go down all the way down to the end of the block, right by where my neighbors were. And then it eventually turned into, okay, I was allowed to ride with my friends a couple blocks, to the point where there was trust built up to where I could ride with my friends. We could ride our bikes out wherever, as long as I was back before dark, before them street lights. Some of y'all know about that, but I had to build the trust. And in the same way, just start small. Basically, what you could do is start with smaller, low-risk tasks and then kind of build from there. This allows you to take things off your plate, but also gives others the opportunities they need to grow. Number two is to be clear about your expectations. Lay out exactly what success looks like and be clear about possible concerns or any hiccups that could happen along the way. As a pro tip, be sure to provide the instructions in a way that the team members understand. Just because it makes sense in your head as a leader doesn't mean it makes sense to the people that you're talking to. Make sure that your expectations are simple and clear. Number three is to focus on growth and not perfection. Okay, so sometimes leaders forget this truth. People are gonna stumble. People on your team, within your organization, are gonna make mistakes, and that's a part of growth. You've made mistakes before. I've made plenty of mistakes before, and I am continuously making mistakes. So why wouldn't we have that same expectation for the people on our teams? And honestly, the only way that they'll grow and improve is if you provide them the leeway and the space to be able to try, to fail, and to learn. All right, and tip number four is to trust the process. Believe it or not, delegation isn't just about trusting others. It's also about trusting yourself. Matter of fact, let's be honest for a second. Some of the anxiety and nerves that you feel isn't even coming from delegation to other people. Some of that anxiety and nervousness is coming from the lack of belief in your own leadership skills. But today, I would encourage you to trust in yourself, to trust in your experience, and trust your gut. Leadership isn't about doing it all. It's about empowering others to step up and do it well. So trust that you've equipped your team, trust that you've communicated well, and trust that you've made the right call. So here's the challenge. This week, I want you to delegate one thing big or small, doesn't matter. Matter of fact, it may not even have anything to do with work. It may have something to do with family or finances or your workout plan, anything related to delegation. I want you to take on that challenge of one thing. So take that step, lean into trust, and let your team and your supporters surprise you. And hey, if this video gave you something to think about, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Let's build better leaders and grow to be better ones, one video at a time. And remember, let's create and dominate.